to Vietnam. Vietnam has history of tribes uniting to form strong dynasties. The first dynasty that many consider to be the start of Vietnamese state was the Hong Bang dynasty, which was ruled by the legendary Hong Kings. Now we can see a picture on how Vietnamese celebrate the Festival of Hong Kings. In 111 BC, the Han dynasty from China absorbed Vietnam in their empire. Vietnam would remain a part of Chinese empire for over 1,000 years. It was in 938 AD that Ngo Quyen defeated the Chinese and gained independence for Vietnam. Vietnam was then ruled by the succession of dynasties including the Lai, Tran, and the Le dynasty. Under the Le dynasty, the Kingdom of Vietnam reached its peak, expanding to the south and conquering a portion of Khmer Empire. The country became divided into Communist North Vietnam and the anti-Communist South. The Vietnam War raged for years between the two countries, with the US supporting the South and the Communist countries supporting the North. The North eventually won, uniting the country under Communist rule in 1975.
Philosophy of education in Vietnam. Number 1. Vietnamese feudal education, or the Confucian educational philosophy. The goal of education is to train military people in the fixed patterns with full elements of 3 moral bands and 5 constant virtues. The 3 moral bands and 5 constant virtues are self-educating, family managing, national managing, pacifying the world. The main teaching method is communication and comprehension. The purpose of the study is to become mandarins and apply the moral standards to assist the king, help the people and the country, and to become teachers who train talents for the country. Number 2. French colonial educational philosophy. It has influenced and demonstrated the values of national consciousness, patriotism, spirit of studiousness, family values, and the philosophy of human love through thinkers. Number 3. Ho Chi Minh's educational philosophy. All for the sake of people, for people, and thanks to people. Learning to be a human being. Learning to serve the fatherland and serve the people. Learning to become the people's public servants.
Concept of education in Vietnam. Education in Vietnam is a state-run system of public and private education run by the Ministry of Education and Training. It is divided into 5 levels: preschool, primary school, secondary school, high school, and higher education. Formal education consists of 12 years of basic education. Basic education consists of 5 years primary education, 4 years of secondary education, and 3 years of high school education. The majority of basic education Students are enrolled on a daily basis. The main education goal in Vietnam is improving people's general knowledge, training quality human resources, and nurturing and fostering talent.
Best Practices of Education in Vietnam by Sarah Jane V. Drilon. One of Vietnam's strategies to achieve further economic growth is the modernization of its education system. In Comprehensive Reform of Higher Education in Vietnam, 2006-2020, the reforms that currently enacted are: Number 1, the establishment of new accreditation and quality assurance mechanisms. Number 2, the creation of a national qualifications framework. Number 3, drastic increase in higher education enrollment by 125%. In Vietnam, teaching quality will be improved by requiring almost all higher education instructors to hold master's or doctoral degrees. Labor force development is being prioritized with large-scale investments in applied, employment-geared training. 70 to 80% of the student population should be enrolled in applied programs. Another goal of the current reforms is the internationalization of Vietnam's higher education system. The government expand English language education and promote transnational cooperation and exchange with countries like Australia, France, USA, Japan, and Germany. Vietnam acceded to international education agreements, such as the Asia-Pacific Convention on the Recognition of Qualifications in Higher Education. Study abroad of Vietnamese students and scholars is explicitly promoted, while the government simultaneously seeks to increase the number of foreign students and researchers in Vietnam. To attract more foreign students and researchers, the government allowed the universities to set their admission standards for international students instead of requiring Vietnamese language entrance examinations. This is a bar graph that shows the increasing number of private English learning centers in Vietnam from 2007 to 2013. Vietnam ranked 17th out of 65 countries, ahead of Western countries like Australia, the United States, and France. For the first time, it participated in the OECD PISA study in 2012. Transnational education, or TNE, in Vietnam is growing. Increased funding for education and other reform measures have led to tremendous improvements in enrollment rates and educational quality. Elementary education in Vietnam begins at the age of 6 and lasts 5 years. Subjects taught include Vietnamese, mathematics, moral education, natural and social sciences, arts, and physical education, as well as history and geography in grades 4 and 5. In 2017, foreign language and computer training start in grade 3 and also offer minority languages as an elective subject. The curriculum emphasizes rote memorization and the language of instruction is Vietnamese. Textbook learning increases in higher grades. Several options for vocational education and training, or VET, exist in Vietnam. The award of a vocational training diploma, a credential that qualifies for employment in a number of trades. The current degree system in Vietnam resembles the system of the United States. It includes an intermediate college degree, a 4-year standard bachelor's degree, and a 2-year master's degree, followed by a terminal research doctorate. Programs are between 2 and 3.5 years in length and are known as short-term training in Vietnam. Minority education in Vietnam. Vietnam's government is committed to improving education in minority regions. It has allocated increased resources and started to supplement Vietnamese language school curricula with lessons in native language. The government intends to lessen the importance of examinations and has announced that national graduation exams will be abolished, at which point admission will be based on overall student performance during senior high school rather than one final high-stakes examination.
Education in Vietnam. Education law. Education law is a set of rules and regulations that guide the working of an education system. It deals with the creation and funding of schools and school policy, teachers' requirements, and the rights of students. It also covers areas like school policy and teachers' requirements. Vietnam Law of Education issued in 2005. The education law regulates the national education system. Vietnamese education is based on Marxism, Leninism, and the ideas of Ho Chi Minh, but also incorporates scientific and modern elements. Educational activities combine learning with practice and take not just in schools, but also in the family and throughout society. The law comprises a section on continuing education. The contents of continuing education are reflected in the following programs: illiteracy, eradication, and continuing post-literacy education. Institution of continuing education organized at province and district level, and community learning centers organized at commune, world, and town levels. Programs of continuing education are also conducted at general educational institution, professional educational institution, higher educational institution, and through the mass media. Continuing education enables people to learn throughout life in order to develop their personality, broaden their knowledge, and improve their quality of life, employability, and ability to adapt to change in society. The Summary of Education Law of 2005. The law refers to all sectors of the education system from early childhood to vocational, higher, and continuing education. In addition to learning and formal settings, it includes in-service training, distance learning, and guided self-learning leading to the nationally recognized qualifications. The law includes provisions regarding the following areas. The national education system consists of formal and continuing education, general education, professional education, and undergraduate and postgraduate education.
The educational ladder and curriculum of Vietnam. An education system in Vietnam is arranged by the Ministry of Education and the training and applied all over the nation. The preschool, the primary education, the secondary education, the high school, post-secondary education and higher education, the postgraduate education. They have also vocational training and continuing education. Preschool in Vietnam is not compulsory. You can choose to let your children go to school or stay at home at this stage. Nursery school is a place to babysit children when their parents go to work to make a living. A child can go to nursery school when he or she reaches 3 months old. Kindergarten, when the child reaches 3, parents will make him or her to kindergarten where he or she is expecting to get familiar with going to school from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. from Mondays to Fridays. This routine will maintain until the child reaches 5. At this stage, teachers in kindergarten will teach children to sing, dance, draw, and do something simple activities by themselves. Teachers also teach children letters and simple mathematics. Nowadays, since English is becoming more and more popular, English is added as a subject in kindergarten too. Kids will be taught and familiarize themselves with simple and popular phrases, colors, numbers, shapes, and etc. For primary school lasts for 5 years, from grades 1 to 5. In primary school, students will study literature, mathematics, history, geography, and etc., which are taught by one teacher called the homeroom teacher. Other subjects such as art, music, physical education, and etc. are taught by the other teachers. Students finishing the primary level will continue to study the secondary level. There is no entrance exam to go to the secondary school. The renovated primary education curriculum in Vietnam is divided into two phases as follows. Phase 1 includes grades 1, 2, and 3 with 8 subjects: Vietnamese language, mathematics, morality, nature and society, arts, physical education, and since 2020, experience activities and foreign language. For Phase 2, includes grades 4 and 5 with 11 subjects: Vietnamese language, mathematics, morality, science, history, geography, basic techniques, arts, physical education, and experience activities and foreign language. The secondary school. Secondary school lasts for 4 years, from grade 6 to grade 9. One big difference between a primary and secondary school is that different teachers teach different subjects. One of the teacher will be the homeroom teacher. Besides teaching, the homeroom teacher is responsible for taking care of the students in other aspects, such as administrative or consultating tasks. When students finish secondary school, there will be an exam taking place all over the Vietnam as assess students' proficiency, which is the entrance exam to high school. This entrance exam is currently applied to both public and private schools. Students had to pass the Intermediate Graduation Examination (IGE) presented by the local Department of Education and Training to graduate. The IGE comprises math, literature, and foreign language tests. During the junior high school, the summer between 7th and 8th grade, and extracurricular activities, 4 periods per month in all grades, In the end of Year 8, students will participate in secondary vocational exam to earn extra mark for the 10th grade examination. The technology students aim to show the link between the theory and practice. It includes three parts: homeroom economics in grade 6, agriculture, forestry, and aquaculture in grade 7, industry in grade 8, and optional modules in grade 9. High school. High school lasts for 3 years, from grade 10 to grade 12. In high school, subjects such as arts and music are eliminated. Students will be instructed to do career orientation and will focus on the subjects which they are majored in. When students finish high school, they will have to take a university entrance exam. Like high school, a university entrance exam is currently applied to both public and private universities. Regarding this exam, students will choose the major that they want to study at university and take the exams that are associated with the major. In recent years, there have been a lot of changes made in this exam regarding the exam from question structures, quizzes, and etc. High school or upper secondary school education, Vietnam, Trong Phu Phu Thong, consists of grades 10 to 12. There is often an entrance exam for high schooling. The scores determines the school at which students are able to enroll. The higher the score, the more prestigious the school. For post-secondary education or higher education, university entrance is based on the scores achieved in the entrance examination. High school graduates need high scores to be admitted in universities. Securing a place in the public university is considered a major step toward a successful career, especially for those from rural areas or disadvantaged families. Starting from 2015, higher school graduation and university entrance merge to one exam. Each student will take at least 4 subjects for the exam, including 3 compulsory: mathematics, literature, and foreign language, mostly English, and 1 subject such as physics, chemistry, geography, biology, history. After the result has been given, the students can use their score to pass the high school graduation exam and to go to their desired college with the 3 chosen points from the 4 given. Associate's degree in Vietnam, Cao Dang, a 3-year program delivered by junior college, including Teachers College and others, and or by some universities as additional training programs. Bachelor's degree in Vietnam, Conan, a 4 to 6 year program, 6 years for students studying medical and dental sciences, 5 years for students of industrial engineering, and 4 years for the majority of other undergraduate degrees such as social sciences. Graduates receive degrees with a title corresponding to their field of study such as Bachelor, Kunan, Engineer, Kai Su, Medical Doctor, Pac C, or lawyer, Lao Su, and etc. For postgraduate education, the master's degree. Admission into master's program requires a bachelor's degree and the passing of an entrance examination. Most programs are 2 years in length, but some programs in disciplines like engineering, for instance, may have a duration of 3 years. Part-time programs also last three standard programs usually require between 40 to 45 credits for graduation and requires the completion of a thesis. PhD. It will take 4 years. Admission to doctoral research program typically requires a master's degree and the passing of an entrance examination. Programs have a minimum duration of 3 years, with most being 3 years in length, even though candidates may take longer to graduate. Bachelor's degree students with exceptional high grades may also be admitted into doctoral programs, in which case the program lasts at least 4 years and incorporates a master's degree. Completion of doctoral programs involves a set of amount of coursework and preparation of a dissertation. In Vietnam's education system, vocational training is designed to teach the student a particular job such as carpenter, barber, and tailors. Students after finished vocational training are expected to have basic skills for a job. Then she or he can work with an experienced senior to hone their skills, or they can start their own business. This training is divided into two types: short-term training and long-term training. Short-term training lasts less than 1 year, while long-term training lasts from 1 to 3 years. There is also a continuing education. These centers are established with an aim to bring education to all walks of life. If your studying unexpectedly ceases due to certain reasons, you can register a course at these centers and go back to study at any time. These centers are meant to eliminate the illiteracy rate of society, to encourage people to study whenever they are ready to. Come on! Thank you. This is Mr. Julius R. Ulino, student.
Once again, good morning. Let us continue with the financing budget of Vietnam. How much does Vietnam spend on education? In 2019, the expenditure for local institutions amounted to approximately 216.5 trillion Vietnamese dong, and the expenditure for central institutions was about 28.34 trillion Vietnamese dong. This table shows the general government expenditure on education, which is the current capital, and transfers is expressed as a percentage of total general government expenditure on all sectors, including the health, education, social services, and etc. It also includes the expenditure funded by transfers from international sources to government. General government usually refers to local, regional, and central governments. How much does school cost in Vietnam? Education is provided through several types of institutions, such as public schools, semi public schools, people founded schools, and private schools. School fees at international schools in Vietnam range from $17,000 to $35,000. Secondary school fees reach up to an average of $15,000. Financing for equity. First, the overall education financing mechanism. In Vietnam, primary education, which is until 5 grades, is free and compulsory. And preschool, which is under 5 years old, and lower secondary is to progressively become compulsory and universal. The government budget covers the salaries, current expenditure, capital expenditure, purchase of fixed assets, and subsidies. The household covers uniforms, textbooks, notebooks, and other material, transportations, and extra courses. Second, the policies and programs to provide resources to schools, primary education for disadvantaged children, or the PEDC Project 2004 to 2010. It covered the 4,751 schools in 227 disadvantaged districts across the 40 provinces. This 244 million US dollars project received donor support from the IDA and other countries. Third is the education policies and programs to provide resources to students and families. The school subsidies. The government has a set of subsidies to help disadvantaged children. In 2017 to 2018, 16.3% of the students came from an ethnic minority, and in 2013, 0.69% of the total expenditure of central and local governments in education went to transfers and subsidies. Among the programs are the tuition fee exemption and support for learning expenses at preschool and lower secondary. Next is the lunch subsidy for disadvantaged children. Third is the cash support. And lastly is the food and accommodation allowances for semi-boarding students. That ends my report in financing budget of Vietnam in education. These are the sources. Once again, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So we're going to discuss about the teacher development program in Vietnam. The Vietnamese education system aims to solve three major tasks. First, improving the people's knowledge. Second, training of human resources, and third, nurturing talents under the law on Vietnamese education 2005. There are four results areas constitute the principal strategies for establishing an effective and well-functioning continuous professional development or CPD system that can provide school-based support and training to teachers and principals. These strategies or results areas consist of the following. First, improving capacity of lead teacher training universities and central teacher management units to enhance teacher and principal education effectiveness. Second, developing a teacher and principal training needs assessment system to inform CPD program development. Third, providing school-based and continuous professional development for teachers and principals. And lastly, ensuring that teachers and principals have access to CPD programs and resources through an information and communication technologies-based system. So here are the examples of Vietnamese educational program. Implementing a competency-based education curriculum. The current General Education Curriculum, or GSC, was first launched in 2006. The new General Education Curriculum, GSC 2018, aims to develop 5 main qualities and 10 core competencies for students. The 5 main qualities are patriotism, compassion, diligence, honesty, and responsibility. The 10 core competencies are autonomy and self-learning, communication and collaboration, problem-solving and creativity, language calculation, science, technology, computing, aesthetics, and physics. The new GSC will be officially implemented in school year 2020-2021, starting from grade 1. So here is another example of Vietnamese educational program, which is reducing theory and enhancing practice. The GSC 2018 was built to emphasize increasing practice and application of knowledge to real life and focusing on social activities, extracurricular activities, and scientific research. The total number of subjects in the GEC 2018 is 13, which is less than the 17 subjects required by the GEC 2006, which is still being implemented. In the GEC 2018, science subjects at the lower secondary level are to be taught as integrated subjects rather than separate science subjects. The subject content does not have the structure of knowledge units, but rather topics that are close to real life. For pre-service teacher training, in Vietnam, pre-service teachers enter education programs as undergraduate students and take 4 years of coursework and complete about 10 weeks of student teaching practicum. The practicum may be divided into 2 periods, the first 5-week practicum in third year and the second 5-week practicum in final year of the course. This is the time to practice teaching in high school and micro-teaching practice at pedagogical universities. In service teacher training, in service teacher education programs or ITEP in Vietnam, specifically aim to update teachers on political and socio-economic issues, foster political and professional attributes, and develop practical competencies in teaching, educating, and other areas based on professional standards for teachers and the need to improve and reinforce educational quality. Likewise, after their training, teachers are expected to be capable of self-study, self-assessment, and organization of self-training activities in their educational institutions or departments. The most important purpose of ITEP is enhancing teachers' competencies in order to meet job positions requirements. The challenges and opportunities of education in Vietnam. Shortage of teachers. The number of teachers have increased significantly in general school and kindergarten year by year. poor qualification of teachers under standard teachers, with a poor self-knowledge, low managerial skill, poor pedagogical competence, lack of reflection, and the ability to be self-critical. Poor equipped training institution. Teacher training institutions are poorly equipped with outdated facilities and training methods and lack systematically and scientifically written materials. Great mismatch between the demand for expansion in size and improvements in quality education. Contradiction between training needs and the existing capacity of the training system. Lack of policy. There is lack of policy for supporting deserving students and a suitable mechanism for the recruitment of high-quality students into the teaching profession. Lack management of graduates who were provided with scholarship during the learning process but some quit the teaching profession. Poor and non-diverse content of teacher education program. Vietnam's teaching education program focused on theory and not on practical skills. Failure in diversity form example training, school-based and service training, and teacher development. Lack of follow-up new and service teacher after graduation. Lack updated research about education. Lack of institutional research infrastructure at the university level. Institutional effectiveness are not evaluated in terms of student learning. So here are the opportunities of education in Vietnam. It developed a network of about go teacher training institutions with sufficient number of good teacher, educators, and modern facilities and equipment. Build two key teacher training universities to train high-quality teachers and undertake research in educational and training science. A lot more funds for the strengthening and upgrading of existing teacher training institutions in ethnic and highland areas, and make sure that each province or city will have one multi-system teacher training college with professionally upgraded lecturers. Lastly, continue to study and formulate remuneration systems and policies toward teachers. So it ends our report for today. Thank you for listening and have a good day.